Well, welcome everyone to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. I am your host and resource for self care, connections, and collaborations. And today, all the way from the UK, we have our special guest, Natalie King from Natalie King Coaching. She is passionate about empowering others to speak their truth, achieve their life goals, and discover their superpower. So, everybody, welcome Natalie King. Natalie, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I know it's kind of late on your end. I gave up saying good morning or good evening because I got people all over the world. So we just go with hello. It's easier. But tell me, what inspired you to create Natalie King Coaching?
I love how you ask that something that inspired me. I think it was more of an accident that Natalie King Coaching was created. It was more of that didn't work, that didn't work. Let me try this, let me try that. And then I just landed in this place that was not defined as such, but it was something that I could then add to it without having to change anything. And hence just Natalie King Coaching. And also Natalie King was taken. So I had to find something to add to that. But as I said, I wanted something that could grow and develop with me, something that was more of an empty basket that I could fill up with different things without having to always change who I was or my domain name or my website, but something that could develop, grow with me. So, and that's how Natalie King Coaching came about. And it has changed over the years. It has grown with me. It has developed, and it's slowly filling up that basket.
That is wonderful. And it makes it easier to change too if it's just your name and not change, like different titles. So, but
Definitely.
I know you were a teacher, you're a trainer, you're a mentor, you're a speaker, you've done so many things. But basically you've honed down into the confidence coaching part pretty much, right? Discover the superpower, help people discover that superpower. And I mean, what drove you to go that way?
Again, it's been somewhere I've landed.
Okay.
Nothing, nothing in my life has been okay. That's the direction I'm going into. Let me go there and see what happens. It is very much this isn't working. Let me try this. This isn't working. Let me try this. Oh, that's quite fun. I want to do something more with that. So it is a journey of just almost pointing in a direction, getting in a car and just saying, where am I going to land up? Let me just follow this road. Should I turn left? Should I turn right here? What should I do? And I do goal setting with my clients, and I'm not very good with the goal setting myself. So it's quite fun. But I landed on confidence because it's something that I'm really, really passionate about, because I lost my confidence as a child and I didn't believe that I would ever have confidence. I then even lost the idea of confidence. Confidence was something that those people had or others would have. And it was one of those topics that was, I'm never going to have it, so I don't even want to know anything about it. And through this, should I go left, should I go right, and the journey that I started on in 2013, I did public speaking. And for somebody with no confidence, you start with public speking. It's like there's the deep end, jump. There's
I
a
was
lot of
going to say
sharks
that is
around you.
definitely diving into the deep end.
There's a shark infested pool, go swim. you know, see if you survive or not. But but through that, I found a passion for public speaking. But I also found this really weird thing was happening inside of me. And it was confidence. And when I realized that, it was like, hang on a minute. What is this thing, confidence? What does it really mean? And why am I starting to feel a bit confident? Why am I starting to feel different? What is that? And I'm a very curious person. I love to learn. I love learning new things and new ideas. I'm very analytical. So I've got to understand something. So I really started to dig into what is confidence? Why do some people have it? Why don't other people have it? What is the actual meaning of it? And what's the use of it? Because let's be honest, it's not a physical thing. It's not like a pen I can pick up and then I can write with it. It's this confidence, just this, airy fairy topic that people talk about, but I can't see it, I can't smell it, I can't touch it. What is it? And this is what I wanted to understand. And the more I started to really look into confidence, the more I was like, I'm liking this topic. This is really beginning to stem my interest. I'm getting passionate about it. And the best thing for me was everybody can have it. Everybody can have it.
It's true, but we often don't see it that way. I think you and I might have had some similar, journeys and thoughts there too, because never thought I would find myself, doing this. And, but self-care and self-confidence, it just kind of all started coming together. Do you think self-confidence means the same to everybody?
No, I think confidence is different for everybody, and it's a different feeling, it's a different process, it's different experiences. And this is one thing that I do love about it. It's not a one size fits all. It's not like doing email marketing or designing a website that, these are the steps that you need to take. And this is something again that really piqued my interest, was because what I experience for confidence will be different from you and some of your audience. It is very different. And this is really what I love about it, and why I love working with my clients, because I don't know what they are. I know they're looking or wanting to develop their confidence, but where and how? And it is different. But just because it's different for everybody, it doesn't mean that everybody can't have it. They can. It just might be a slightly different journey or in a different way. And it might manifest itself differently for different people. And again, it is one of the things that I love about confidence.
Yeah. And I love how you call it a journey, because to me, all of that self-care, life, you name it, it's always a journey, because you're always learning. If you stop learning, to me, you stop growing. So, it's always some kind of a journey. You're always kind of evolving. But yeah. And so you go with the self-confidence. So when it's in the self-confidence coaching, do you have some tips and techniques, or, because I know you help them discover their superpower, but I think that has a lot to go with, what their confidence is.
So one of the biggest tips that I always share with everyone and anyone who will listen is your body is very much connected to your confidence. And one of the things that you can do almost instantaneously is shift your body language. So let's talk about you going networking, or you've got a presentation to give, or you talking to a new client, or whatever it is. What's your body language? Are you sitting hunched like this, all folded in? Are you standing with your legs crossed, your arms crossed, and just closing yourself off? You're not going to feel very confident. You're not going to feel very empowered. But if you just sit up straight, shoulders back, or if you're standing, stand up straight, do the superhero pose, hands on hips if you have to, legs slightly apart, and just stand up. Take a deep breath. How do you feel? Just that simple check in with your body. What is your body language saying about how you're feeling right now? And also, when you do straighten up, you clear you don't clear your lungs, but you give your lungs space to take in that air. Because if you hunch like this, they're just going to be a little bit, crammed up. But also, with helping with confidence and feeling empowered, is having that deeper breath. because when you're stressed and anxious, you start breathing really shallow. And then your brain is going, 90 miles an hour, and it's off, and it's, I can't do this, and all the negative things that it's thinking about. But all you do is straighten up and see how you feel. It takes a second to do that. And that's step one. Just put your body in the right frame of mind to help you then to get on with whatever it is that you need to get on with.
Yeah, I've heard it referred to as like the Superman pose or the Wonder Woman pose. You just, it's not conceited. You just stand there. It's like, you'll actually feel it open up things. But like you were saying, it has to do with, breath too. How many times do we just kind of like this, and it doesn't really allow your breath to go all the way, down and through? Everybody's like, oh, I'm breathing. It's like, there's a difference between breathing and getting that breath, that comes in. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful place to start. I think, well, you mentioned it. Body language is, what do they say, 75%? It's a high percentage, really. So really, your body actually says more than what people hear you say, if I'm not mistaken.
When you're looking at somebody and you see their body language, how do you react to them? And you're doing the same with your own body. How do you react when you all hunched up and feeling insecure? And the minute you might not feel confident straight away, but just project that confidence. And a really great book to read is a book by Amy Cuddy, Presence. And that really talks a lot about just having that idea of body language. It's look at the way you're sitting or you standing. Watch how other people sit and stand. Do you shuffle when you're walking? Do you shuffle and almost, hide behind? Or do you take nice big strides and, I'm here, I'm coming? You don't have to be aggressive about it, but just own your space that you're in. This is my space. Own it. Own your chair. Own the direction you're walking in, and you'll start to notice a difference, especially when you start to pay attention to, hang on a minute, I'm feeling hunched. Okay, let me straighten up. Let me see. Oh, yes, I'm starting to feel better. Now, I've been doing this for years, and I can give you all the theory around confidence. And there are times when I'm like, oh my God, I got to do that. Oh no, I can't do that. I won't do that. And it's like, hang on a minute. Shoulders back. Okay, now, how do I feel? Am I ready for this? Hell no. Okay, let me start again. And that's fine. And then it's like, I got this. I can do it. And it's just your body telling your mind what you can do. And sometimes it's easier to tell your body what to do than it is to tell your mind what to do, because your mind has all these different thoughts that override the one that you're thinking, I can do this. No, you can't. I can do. No, you can't. Whereas your body is shoulders back, sit up straight, done. There's no, you can't do that, because it doesn't argue with you. And this is why it's sometimes best is allow your body to help you to find your inner superhero.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but no one's ever perfect with any of this stuff. There's often times where you might have got bad news or something, or you're tired and you just find yourself going like this. But I have certain people that I know that I've worked with for self-confidence, and if I like see their face or hear their name, it's like it's like this instant trigger. It's like I realize I'm not sitting I'm not sitting up straight, and you're right. You can change your whole feeling, your bodies, your emotions. Yeah, it's really kind of fascinating how that works. Is there anything that's like specifically a trigger for you, or that keeps you reminded that you're not doing what you know, you're not practicing what you preach? Let's put it that way.
Well, somebody once said to me, or I've heard it many times, and I'm sure you've heard it, and I'm sure some of your audience has heard it. You teach what you need to learn. And this is so true for me, is I needed to learn confidence. And I still do. I'm still on a confidence journey. I have days where I'm like, yeah, I got this, I can do it. And there's other days where like, this isn't happening, this isn't gonna work. But at the end of the day, we're human, and that's okay. It's okay to not be confident 24/7. It's fine. But it's finding that those moments when you need to be confident is having those tools in your toolbox to help you through that moment of questioning or insecurities or anxiety or whatever it is. For me, it's just there's no specific one thing that will necessarily trigger me to lose my confidence. It could just be maybe I haven't had a good night's sleep. It could just be somebody's wound me up, or my neighbor usually. No, that's more anger. But the thing is, it could be anything. We're human. At the end of the day, we are human. We have emotions. We react to what's going on in the world. We react to the moon, to the planets, to the weather, to whatever it is, noises, smells. And this is great. And this is part of why I love confidence so much, because it almost, well, not almost, but it allows you to be human with all your frailties and your emotions and work through them. So yeah, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want this day to start. And then other times I'm fine. And then I might see something on the news, or, an email pops up and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, you can deal with it. Yeah.
There's delete and the turn off button.
Yes, definitely. But it could also, sometimes it's just a smell, or, the sun shines. I'm like, yes, great. Especially here in the UK. We don't get that much sunshine. It's mostly gray. Or it's like the morning is beautiful and sunny, and then the afternoon starts to get gray and miserable and windy. And you think, oh, really? So it's just be human with it. Allow it to happen. And just know that sometimes you're going to feel it, sometimes you're not. And that's okay, as long as you're going 2 steps forward and not 2 steps back.
Back, right.
It's
So is
just
that
about,
what you refer to? Because I've heard you say humanness before. So is that what you mean by the humanness part?
yes, embrace your humanness. And I like to think I made up that word, but I don't think so. I think it's been around for a while, but it is about that humanness inside us, that uniqueness, that is inside of each and every one, and to reconnect with that humanness, to just allow yourself to be you.
Yeah, exactly. Be yourself. Know that you're enough. You make a difference,
Mhm.
So I always like creating those judgment-free, spaces, because I think when you get all that judgment and all the negative bombardment, it really can take a toll on your self-confidence and really affect you.
Definitely, definitely. And there's so much negativity in the world. I mean, you go on social media, you go on the news, you turn on the TV, wherever you go out, just outside your front door, and you're getting somebody bellowing at you. You go shopping. I don't know what it's like in the States, but here in the UK, some people are really aggressive, just going down the shopping aisle. It's like, okay. So you can get bombarded by a lot of negativity, a lot of aggression, a lot of anger. And it's just finding that space inside of you to not necessarily react, because it's not about you, it's them. But quite often is we want to react to it. Or it might just be me that I want to hit somebody when they ram me with their
No,
trolley.
it's a lot of people, but I've also learned, I think a lot of times, I'm not sure if I can put this in the right words, but normally when people react or they get judgmental or they have a problem, it's either because they're seeing something that they wish they could do or had the courage to do, or they see something in themselves, that they don't like. There's a
Mhm.
way to put that, but I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's like you said, the reflection. It's seeing something, and it is it's tough at the moment. Life is not easy at the moment, wherever you are. It's not easy. The last 3 years have been a, phew, that's all I'm going to say is, phew. But it's about rising above it and not succumbing to the fear and not sinking into that negativity and that doom and gloom, and finding something that sparks you and allows you to shine in your own way. And I think that's so important. And this is, again, one of the reasons why I love confidence. I don't know if you noticed, but I really do love confidence. The topic confidence.
Just a little.
But when you start to feel that, you start to notice things differently. You start to see the more positive, or find the right people to be with, or say yes to opportunities. Because it's not just about right here, right now, but it's what are you projecting and what are you receiving as well. And this is something that, again, it just helps you to step more into who you are. I mean, 10 years ago, if somebody said you're going to be on Laura Cross's TV show, I would have like, yeah, right. No, that would never have happened.
10 years ago, if somebody said Laura Cross was going to have a TV show, I would have told you, yeah, it ain't happening. I know you have a lot more tips and stuff to share with us. We do need to take a quick break from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. And we're going to go into even more about the self-confidence and some of those changes and stuff we feel in tips. So we will be right back.
Hello, my name is Peter. I'm a Dharma Master. I teach Qigong at the Bright Beings Academy. What kind of Qigong do we teach? Well, it helps you to get your mind into your body and your breath very quickly. We really start off with quite quick movements to help cater for the busy Western mind, coming into stretching out the meridians, waking up the chakra system and the danjons, coming into Jigan meditation, which helps you to really focus on the energy in and around your body, bringing you into that beautiful calm state where you can sit and meditate really easily, whereas maybe before you found it really difficult. So Qigong at the Bright Beings Academy will help you get more in touch with yourself.
Relief for PTSD, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and many other ailments. Introducing Vibe, the world's only pocket PEMF device. You place in your pocket while cooking, cleaning, relaxing, watching TV, sitting at your computer, reading, or walking. Self-contained standalone device. No drugs. No other phone or Bluetooth connections required. No monthly subscription fees. No apps to download. No Bozone. The future of medicine is in the frequencies. Come join the revolution.
Hi, I'm Bobby Aldridge with BAM Metrics. There are so many programs out there that measure your swing speed, sets, reps, your BMI, your body fat. But the one thing they're not measuring that's so essential is mobility. Mobility is the key. If you're measuring your mobility, your performance will get better and you will reduce your pain. I created BAM Metrics to make it easy for people to repeat the exercises so they could do it properly at home on their own. It's simple, it's easy to do, and from a senior to a pro athlete.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
And we are back. Natalie, yeah, you were talking about that self-confidence, about, giving you that different feeling. So maybe discuss some of the feelings and how that relates to getting people to speak their truth and achieve their life goals. How does all that fit in together?
So one thing with confidence for me, and this is something that I've noticed personally, and I've noticed it with my clients who I work with, is it's here. it's something that happens here in your, I don't know, your heart, or just in the middle of your body, or whatever it is. but it gives you the opportunities to maybe say yes to things, or you start to want to do more. You start to want to stretch that comfort zone that you've got into. You might even do things that you never thought you would do, join a class or learn a new language or something random that you would never have thought about doing. And it's very different for people, and it could even be that you've done something, let's say driving, that you can drive and you go from A to B, but you've never been a confident driver. And just by starting to really tap into your, I call it your superpower, your inner superpower that everybody has of confidence, you might become a confident driver. And it can happen with anything. It can be with writing. It can be with learning new skills. And through this, new opportunities arise. So what starts to happen is you start to dream. You start to think, I want a bigger house. I want a better job. I want to have my own business. I want to travel the world. I want to go volunteer somewhere. I want to learn to knit. I want to learn a different language. And you start to want more for yourself. And as you grow your confidence, you'll start to want to get those things for yourself. So whether it's the holiday or whether it's a job or whether it's starting your own business, you will find ways to do it. And then you'll want more, and then you'll stretch your comfort zone, and then you will become more confident at other things, and then you will stretch your comfort zone, and then you'll want more. And it's like a snowball effect. It will start small, and as it rolls down the hill, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is what confidence does. And as I said, previously, is you might not feel confident 24/7. But when you're not feeling confident and having those moments of not feeling confident, it's a moment. It's like, yeah, okay. So today I'm going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to, eat a tub of ice cream, and I'm going to wallow in whatever self-pity I can manifest or suck up for myself.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know that it's like, yeah, this is a phase. I'm just going to enjoy it, because in an hour's time or tomorrow's another day, I'll be all right. And this is sort of what confidence does. It gives you that knowledge and that confidence to be not confident even.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about that too, I mean, a lot of times people get into that whole pity party or the comfort food eating, and it's not always easy to get out of it. What kind of tip would you maybe give somebody to snap out of it?
Yeah, it's not easy. And over the years, the more I've become more confident and grown in my confidence, I'm actually finding it easier and easier to get out of it. That I don't feel like getting out of it. I'm happy in the space for now. But it's focusing on what you've achieved. It's focusing on how far you've come on your journey. And it doesn't matter where you're at right now. It's just see what you've done, what you've learned, what skills you've got, what accomplishments you've had. And everybody has accomplishments. Even if they think they haven't got any, they have. You just might have to consciously think about them. But it's when you start to think, oh, actually, I did that, or I'm pretty good at that, or I had fun doing that. And when you look at that and then you start to think, what am I grateful for? I know this whole gratitude and, writing gratitude journals and everything. We hear these words a lot, be grateful, be positive. But there is that nugget of truth in that. So what are you grateful for? What inspires you? What will help you to get out of your funk and out of this pity party that you are in at the moment? What will help you? And if you like, oh, nothing work, I'm not good at anything, I'm not grateful for anything, again, go back to your body. take your body for a walk, change the scenery, go outside, smell the fresh air, have the wind in your face, or even if it's raining, have the rain on you, and just change your scenery. And that can be enough to get you into a different frame of mind. Whereas if you just sit on the couch and you binge watching something on Netflix or whatever, and you just keep going in, and you're not able to, with your mind, get you out of it, then use your body. Take your body for a walk. Yeah. Get your body to put shoes on and coat on if you need to, and go for a walk. The great thing is, if you've got dogs like we have, they're always up for a nice walk.
or the playtime, which is in the vocabulary too. It's very
Exactly.
toy and food motivated, so it's like whoop, off we go. But yeah, and so what I'm hearing you say is basically to focus on the positives and not always look at the negatives. We have enough people and ourselves that throw negatives, and it can be something small. I mean, waking up and getting out of bed for some people is an accomplishment, but if you're just kind of in it and you take it for granted, you don't necessarily look at it as, because some people can't do that and struggle. So I think it depends on where you're at. And yeah, like you, I like to go out, walk, go clear my head. Music and dancing, my happy place. If I have music and stuff and I'm not dancing and I'm not singing, I know something's really, really bothering me, and I have to kind of dig in deep and say, okay, how important is this? Or is it more important that we get back to, where we were and back to living? Because I think when you get into those pity parties and stuff, you're not truly living anymore. You're just kind of wallowing.
And it's like a never ending sort of sinkhole. You just go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like quicksand. You just, and then it just slowly comes up, and then. But when you're positive, when you're grateful, when you find ways to improve your mindset, improve your outlook, you will start to find more to be grateful for, more to be positive. I was very, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, even 11 years ago, I was very proud to be very narrow-minded and negative. It was a place that I was in. And I know that these things can change, because I've worked a lot with the brain and with neuroscience, and as I said, I like to understand stuff and how the confidence works. I was very much doom and gloom. There was no such thing as silver lining. Everything sucked. The world was a horrible place. Nothing was good enough. Everything was miserable. I'm sure I must have just walked around like this the whole time. I was very negative. You could say it's a beautiful sunny day. I could find something wrong with that. I was in that place. And over the years, I've shifted the way that I think. It's not to say that I don't think sometimes the world sucks and life is hard and, oh man, this weather again, raining again,
But you can't control it. You have no control over that.
We can't control it. It's right, but we can control how we feel about it. But more often than not, I am more positive. And it's just through finding that silver lining, finding something to be positive about, finding what I'm good at, being grateful about something. And sometimes all I got to do is be grateful for my dogs that I have. It is something that's small. It doesn't have to be massive. It could be that, you're walking down the street and somebody smiles at you. And one thing that's great about a smile, it's contagious. So what happens is I smile back. Meantime, I'm thinking, I'm in the world. They smile at me and I smile back. Or sometimes I even smile first.
There's a concept.
But the thing is, it's about shifting your mindset, shifting the way that your brain is working and thinking. And this is why I said earlier, it is easier to get your body to do something than your brain, because you have to change those pathways or those wires that are in your brain. They've been programmed from when you were a child, and they have found ways to cement themselves in there. And your brain wants to protect you. It's not out to harm you. So it protects you. And it's like, that's bad, that's bad. So we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you safe. So you need to change that. And it's not an overnight process. It didn't happen overnight to get you like that.
Yeah.
And it's not an overnight process to shift it. But it's shiftable. It is doable. It just, you need a bit of work, and it takes effort.
It definitely does. And that's a good point that you made, because, it took us years to get where we're at. And we always want instant gratification. We want it like fixed yesterday, but it takes work to reverse that process. And a big part of that, now I have always called it, building a community or finding your tribe, because you want those positive people around you. But I know you have a different word for it. Ubuntu? Is that how you pronounce it? Or Ubuntu?
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, because I know you often say Ubuntu and not community. So what does that mean?
So Ubuntu is actually a South African word. It's because I'm originally from South Africa. Funny enough, is I had to live in the UK for 23 years to learn the South African word. But it is about community. It's about having the right people around you. The African community is very much, or the culture is very much about community. So grandparents will look after the grandkids, neighbors will look after neighbors. It is about community. And Ubuntu is a word I've known for years, but I've never really understood the word until the last few years, when I began to really appreciate what is community, what is tribe, what does that mean? And again, it's different for everybody. And for me, it was about having the right people around you. But not only that, is community is about resilience. It's about having that strength to keep going, having that strength to push yourself forward, to help others, to stay positive, to find that gratitude, that resilience to not just survive, but actually start to thrive. And this is for me what Ubuntu meant, is having the right people around you who will push you when you need to be pushed, who will support you when you need support, who will motivate you, who inspire you, whatever it is that you need. And it could be family, it could be total strangers. You and I are in the same sort of membership group. I mean, that's how we met. It's based in America. I mean, I'm in the UK. So it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't have to be physical, get together physically. It can be online. But it's finding those right people who just make you want to almost become a better person. And that for me is what Ubuntu means, is building that community around that. When things are tough, there's that reserve in you that can keep going and know that you're going to be okay coming out. And it's so Ubuntu and resilience for me are very closely connected. That's for me, because I find those two really close. But Ubuntu is basically community.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious. I know I've heard you use the term before, and I never had a chance really to ask you. So you would say confidence and resilience then really kind of connect to each other?
Definitely. It's something that the confidence will help the resilience, and the resilience will help the confidence. And the more confident you are, the more you will start to build your resilience. And the more resilient you are, the more you'll start to build your confidence. So they are very nicely intertwined. but they don't necessarily, you don't work on them doing the same things. They don't necessarily have the same tips or the same tools to work on them. So you've almost got to work on the one and then work on the other, or work on them together separately. But as, for example, sit up straight or stand up straight, take a deep breath. That's great for the confidence, but it's not necessarily for the resilience. So for the resilience is more the community, is having those people around you. Because when you have that community around you and you build that support, and you do need the physical as well, is you then start to have oxytocin, which then stops the loneliness. Because as we all know, loneliness is almost a killer. It's you can fall ill when you're really lonely. Whereas if you're not that lonely and you're resilient and you've got that community, you will start to thrive. And the last 3 years, loneliness has become an epidemic on its own. And so when you build your community and you start to really have the right people around you, you start to build resilience. And then the resilience also helps to combat with the loneliness. And then when you start to combat the loneliness and you are having the right community, then you will start to build on the confidence, but you will then start to find different opportunities that you can maybe bring to your community. So they do intertwine, but you can't just do one thing and you tick both boxes. No, they each have their own box to tick.
Yeah, they do. And I don't know about you, but I've found the more I learn about self-care, self-confidence, it doesn't seem to matter. I used to always kind of look at things like, black or white, right or wrong, but it's really all gray. There is no right or wrong because we're all different. And yeah, those communities are huge, especially, when you're talking about resilience. I remember when my husband passed away 18 years ago, and then my grandma wound up in the hospital, and there was some news thing on there about people that actually died of heartbreak. There was nothing ever wrong with them, but they died of heartbreak. And I remember my mom getting a hold of me and saying, "Don't you be dying on me." I'm like, I was just like, what? It wasn't even really kind of a thought in my head. I'm not saying I didn't have my own, anxieties and depressions and stuff to get through, but yeah, it's having that right support and resilience. And I love building the communities, or the, like you said, the Ubuntu, and having like-minded people to support. I mean, we all need that. I always think we could do more together, than by ourselves.
We are very powerful as a collective, dare I use that word, but we are more powerful as a group than we are as individuals. And the thing is community is different for everybody. Some people, it might be family. I know somebody who's in my community, she's very much about physical community. She's not a fan of online with anything, and that's fine. She's building her community near her where she is. So so it's very physical. And some people, it's all about online, and some it's a combination. Some it's more family, some it's more others that are not family. So community can be a community of 5, or can be a community of 500. It doesn't matter. And you can be part of different communities. So as I said, you and I are in a community together that is run by Gary, who has a wonderful community, and we pop into there. I have my own community, but I am also part of other people's community because that suits me. But it's like confidence. What works for you? Find what works for you. One community might work for me, and you might go, hell, where'd you find those random people? Come on, please. And that's fine, because the humanness, we're human. We are unique and need to find our own. And you can still be part of a lot of other communities. Your community can be a toe in this one, a toe in that one, and that's fine. It's what works for you. But it's having that support, that tribe, that Ubuntu. It's having that there, and you've got to consciously look for it and build it and have the right one. And sometimes one community might just poodle off to the side because you've grown or developed, or they've gone in a different direction. And again, that's fine. It's all organic. It's a living, breathing thing. And that's good. Just make sure you have a community.
I think I know personally, if you really want to start counting them, a lot of us probably have a lot of communities. I was military, so I have a military community. Used to race, I have a racing community. Racing community is different from the business community, which is different from the self-care one. Yeah, there's lots of things you can do. And like you said, some people online is better. Now, if you're an introvert and it terrifies you and you don't have that confidence to go out, then I would think that would be one tip for them to start online, start meeting new people. And if those new people are local, then you can meet up with those people locally and start like in small groups. And then who knows where that goes? Everybody thinks, oh, you're an extrovert, you're on this. I said, no, I'm an ambivert. I am like smack in the middle.
Oh no, I'm an introvert, as Brené Brown says. I would be a hermit if I could. And I did, to be honest, with all the lockdowns and everything, I lost my physical community because I just realized that, hey, I don't have to see people. Love it. And I then also had realized I needed to build something. So I very much focused online, and having the only person I would physically see would be my husband, because we live in the same house. I think if we didn't, I wouldn't see anybody. And I realized, hang on a minute, for me, this isn't good enough. And I'm now actually consciously trying to find some sort of a community that is around me that's actually physical, because I would just stay in my house 24/7. I go for a walk, but I would dodge and dive and not see anybody and go where I knew nobody would be. And I realized that wasn't healthy. I was allowing the introvert to take control because it was easy just to hop online, because guess what? I'm in my own space. My dog is actually lying here on the dog bed. This is my own space. I don't feel that anybody is in my space. But I also realized that I wasn't helping myself, and I wasn't helping my resilience, and I noticed something was missing. So sometimes you've actually got to consciously think, okay, what's not right? What do I need to do about it? And then do something about it. So at the moment, I'm on a mission to have more local community that are people who I can actually go and meet for a cup of coffee and just have a chat or whatever it is, just to have that physical connection.
Right. And it's kind of weird sometimes how we're all connected, but you mentioned it, easy. I think that's our biggest downfall. We do what's easier, because it's just, it's easy. Everything takes work.
Easy.
We like easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Natalie, I got your NatalieKingCoaching.com. I know it's a good way for people to get a hold of you. How do you normally work with clients and stuff? What are some of the things that you do for them?
Well, it's all one-to-one, because I really do think that this is such a personal journey. I want them to have the space to feel safe. I do have set programs, but generally I tend to create something specific for that client. So I do like to have a conversation before I work with somebody, first of all, to see if I'm the right fit for them and if they're the right fit for me. And it's in that conversation that we will then come up with what it is that they're wanting to do and work on, and then what it is that I will help them with. So things that I do help, like I mentioned earlier, is goals, is have those goals that they want to do. I will very much help them to find their values, because quite often we forget what our values are, or we might just have a value that we think is ours, but actually it's not. So I do work with values a lot, because knowing your values, especially your core values, it will help for you to start to reconnect with your identity. Because you go through school, then you go to college or the army or air force or the forces, or you get a job, you fit into the
mold.
hole that you need to fit into. You just make yourself fit, and you start to lose who you are. And this is something that I help my clients to find out who they are. Who is that person inside? Just like peeling an onion. It's not a very nice vegetable to talk about, but it's a great one for examples, because we'll slowly peel off the layers until you get to that core, which is always a diamond in that onion. And it's finding, who am I? What are my values? And when you start to know that, you start to learn, you start to know what it is that you wanting to create in your life. You'll start to know who you want to hang out with. And sometimes it could be just realizing that the job you've got doesn't align with your values. So, well, no wonder you've been so, disjointed and disconnected with yourself. And it could even be that the business you've started, because you started it out of desperation, or just because you're good at those things, so you started that business and you're thinking, this doesn't fit with me anymore. What can I do to make my business fit me? So it is very much about getting back to the core of who that person is. And that's what I do is there's a lot of different ways of doing it. It's helping them to shift, create those new wires in their brains and whatever it is that they need. But those are essentially the biggest things that I work with.
Absolutely. We have a couple of minutes left, and I know you have a wonderful podcast that I was honored to be a guest on. Would you like to tell everybody about your podcast and how they can find you for the podcast?
So this is a very much a passion project of mine and a friend of mine. We were actually friends, and we created the podcast of Into Your Life podcast. You can find us on Apple and Spotify. And on YouTube now. We are now officially on YouTube. And it is about having more life in one's life. It's just, we share our journeys and our experiences, and we get wonderful guests like yourself who come on and share their journeys and their wisdom. And it's just, the aim of it is to have more life in one's life.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, Natalie, for taking the time to join us today. And everybody, if you need to discover your superpower and you need to work on your self-confidence, then make sure to reach out to Natalie. All of her info will be in the comments as well. But I want to thank you guys all for joining us today. We have a whole lineup of amazing guests for you. So I would like to invite you to click subscribe, turn on the notifications to the Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross YouTube channel, and then you can get caught up on the previous guests and you won't ever have to miss another episode. But thanks again for watching, and we'll see